What is this? How many times I tell you? Less salt. It tastes like that sweaty old guy we caught jogging down the road last week.
Campfacer.
What's going on, campers? Campfacer here. Welcome back to another Texas Chainsaw Massacre the game video. Today, Gun Interactive over on their hub post at txchainsawgame.com goes over the details on all the maps that I've been talking about all week on my channel that they've been releasing, including the family house map, the gas station map, and then yesterday the slaughterhouse map. Now, it's a big read, but I might skim through it a little bit and then we'll discuss more about it, but it dives deep into how we're going to be playing as victims on these maps and the reason why they designed these maps the way they did. So, without further ado, the Texas countryside is an important aspect in bringing the Texas Chainsaw Massacre to life. In this hub post, we'll be going over the process of recreating the iconic locations from the 1974 film as the game environments and how those locations may require different play styles depending on where players find themselves. For Gun and Sumo, working on the Texas Chainsaw Massacre began with intensive research to deepen our understanding of the source material. In regards to the locations featured in the film, it means using that understanding of what existed to expand upon it in a way that makes sense for the game. Steve Kirby, lead designer Sumo Digital Nottingham, goes on to say, "When choosing and designing the levels, we knew we wanted players to really experience the iconic locations from the original movie as well as add our own stamp on the franchise. These are key locations for the family and their victims, and it would not be the Texas Chainsaw Massacre without them. We wanted to allow the players to not just enter, but more importantly, fully explore and feel those places and how macabre they are. Discovering not just what the movie showed, but the areas hidden away from view. We get to explore a huge range of possible environmental questions. What would be behind this door? What spaces have the family of killers created? How do the family live in these spaces? How have they constructed these areas?" That's where the real fun begins and where the designers and artists get to play. Working with our art and design team here at Sumo and the awesome folks at Gun, nothing has been left unturned in the authenticity department. We know that the fans are going to compare and analyze what we have made with the movie. And I think I can say that everyone on the project has brought their A game to bring as much detail as humanly possible to the game. I'm very proud of what the team has created. The overhead view gives a good sense of scale for each location, but also illustrates how each map is different from the others. From the basement where we've seen Leatherface work to the gas station where we meet the cook for the first time, these locations are more than just the rooms we see in the film. And with each location, there are vastly different areas. Strategies that work in a windowless basement may not be the best choice in a room with sunlight streaming in, and the advantages you have in the shadows may disappear when you find yourself outside in the bright Texas sun. The family house sits virtually alone in a sea of green grass and sunflowers with open lines of sight anywhere outside. The gas station is littered with junk piles and broken down vehicles that have been dumped and forgotten in the spaces between buildings. The slaughterhouse is this maze-like claustrophobic tangle of broken down buildings and cattle panels. How do we make sure that we are still promoting the same core gameplay, while players are forced to play differently in each location? Ollie Scott, senior designer of Sumo Nottingham, goes on to say, "Once we had a solid understanding of how the core gameplay was shaping up, we underwent the process of carving up the gameplay spaces to promote our cat and mouse philosophy. Shadows and traversal methods became the hallmark of successful players on the development team. However, we knew we could not offer all the things in every scenario, and so found that through repeat play sessions, different playstyles emerged that complemented each player's style. Through all our maps, we tried to capture a feeling of progress as victims move through each zone. It was important to reward success with more space to breathe and plan, while also raising the pressure on the family members to catch victims before they escape. There is a satisfying moment in a match when a family team realizes a victim has progressed past an integral threshold. Can the family stay cool under pressure and hunt the victims, or will the victims capitalize on the confusion to make a break for it? The family will need to keep their eyes and ears open and depend on all the tools at their disposal, including teamwork, to search out and discover where the victims are before they are able to escape the family's clutches. We've said before that the victims should be silent, shut off the lights, and stick to the shadows. These are the core concepts to strive for, though there are times that players can't or won't be able to follow these guidelines. In those moments, choices must be made. So that was a very interesting read, and I have a few questions with the gameplay style of these maps myself. One of them being item location. Like, if a player memorizes where things are, it's going to be too easy for that player the next time they play a match to run right to where they need to go. And I believe they're going to relocate items and buildings and such like they did in Friday the 13th. But even that, players started memorizing where those locations were. So I hope that Gun makes at least 5 or 6 different spawning locations every time a match loads, to make it a little harder for us players to not memorize where they are located. Make it interesting, make it scary, because once players start memorizing everything, the game's basically like, oh, he already ran there, he knows what he's doing, oh, they're ahead of me. Especially when new players start playing the game and advanced players play, they're going to know where everything is. So I hope they relocate items and buildings and such in every single match, at least 5 or 6 times. That's one of my questions. Another question I have is, once the victims get to a certain point, it's game on for the family members. Does that mean that, like, advanced players, if they get to that point, are you going to not even want to bother? It's like game over if they're at that point. Or do you always have a chance? I don't know too much about what they're diving into there, but it sounds to me like, once you have certain things in play and you're that far, you're basically out the gate without being out the gate, if you get what I'm saying. There's so many different questions about these maps and the gameplay style. I can't wait to see actual gameplay and the mechanics on how it works, how it looks, feels. We need a gameplay video soon. I hope they release something in the near future. But anyways, I want to know what you guys think about this down in the comments section below. Do you guys think that this hub post was really interesting? Do you like these maps that I've showed off all week? What's your questions? Let's have a conversation down in the comments. I appreciate every single one of you guys. Make sure to like, subscribe, and click notifications so also you don't miss a video in the future. And I will see you campers in the next video. And as always, campers, stay out of the woods.